the media. He's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because I mean, the president has been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel.
Hey, for those of you that are part of MAGA and you're wondering what the hell's going on with Elon Musk and Donald Trump, this is probably the point that you want to deploy the Bongino rule. You're going to want to wait 24, 48, 72 hours until you can see what's really happening. Because if you just grab some popcorn and you sit back and watch, I think you're going to find that this is probably the most exciting part of the play that's been written. The play acting is absolute brilliance, but you got to understand what the objective here is, and they are walking blindly into it. Imagine a scene in a play where one of the major characters was under absolute assault by the violent, radical, leftist extremist antagonist in the script. And when he leaves government, he needs to revitalize his company, the company that the left tried to destroy through firebombing his dealerships and destroying property and organizing mass campaigns against his stock price. And now suddenly he's their hero. Imagine a scene in the play where you need to bring to the forefront the files of the corruption and the decrepit nature of your adversary. And the best way to do it is to get them to start calling for it. Imagine writing a scene in the play so powerful, so effective, that the very same people who've been fighting to hide information that we've all been wanting are now suddenly demanding its release. And imagine using your show your ass theory so effectively that the very same people who took Doge to court over 180 times to block the cuts that Doge was recommending are now suddenly supporters of the person who was recommending the cuts. Don't you love play acting? Don't you love when play actors play their role?
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what's going on, family? I hope everyone that is tuned in right now that you are blessed, well, and healthy, man. It's one love to the human race. We got some more huge updates and breaking news to get into. And check out also what the speaker is talking about. He better not come on here smiling. I'm telling you. Because what just took place these last 24 hours, man. I'm hotter than fish grease. Okay. You know, I didn't like the way this is playing out, and seeing Trump get unfairly, you know, tweeted about once again, people turning their back on him, you know, just being completely treated unfair once again, man. And this whole Epstein thing, and we've talked about this multiple times, and people, even top officials and top people, you know, that were also involved with Epstein and this and that, coming out and defending President Trump, and going back and posting old videos and quotes and all kind of stuff, man. Again, just it's sad how they've dragged this man through the mud, how so many people have turned against him, you know, that used to love him, that played in his face, gave him hugs, you know, kissed all up on him, you know. Boy, you know, two of the most powerful, richest men, you know, and then and we're seeing temper tantrums and stuff. And, you know, and I get Elon Musk put a lot on the line. He put his companies, his businesses on the line, you know, he made a lot of sacrifices, you know. But, and then some of y'all are saying this is a part of the plan. Maybe this is, you know, but they're supposed to be on getting, as of today, because this was 10 hours ago. As of today, sometime today, they will be getting on a phone call after this feud took place yesterday. So they are getting on a phone call today as you're watching this video, and we'll see what takes place from that. Again, just 6 hours ago, not 6 hours ago, just almost 6 days ago, this man was in the office with President Trump. You know, he got keys to the White House. He was celebrated, loved, and was standing right next to President Trump. And then 24 hours ago, everything changed. Everything changed because of this big, beautiful bill. You know, but Trump woke up this morning and said prices are down, income is up, our border is closed, gasoline is cheap, inflation is dead, our country is booming, companies are pouring into America like never before. You know, it is going down, you guys. We will all see how this play out. Trump also said America's hot. 6 months ago, it was cold as ice. Borders closed. Prices are down. Wages are up. We got more breaking news. Over 139,000 jobs were added to the economy in May alone. All we needed was a new president.
And the unemployment rates are 139,000 is the non-farm payrolls number. The street was looking for 130,000. The unemployment rate stayed the same, 4.2%. 139,000.
Again, a lot of good things that has happened for America. And what President Trump, you know, is doing in his leadership, his promises, and promises made, promises kept. A lot of things that Trump is doing. They don't want to report on it. They love that this Elon Musk thing is taking place. Especially the left Democrats. But maybe this is the bait. Maybe this is, and I see a lot of, you know, conspiracy theorists and a lot of people saying, you know, maybe this was, you know, all the part of the plan. Maybe Trump and Elon Musk are playing chess. Maybe this is, who knows? But, you know, from what we've seen so far, I don't see Trump being mentioned on the, you know, what Elon said about the, you know, for calling for his impeachment to get replaced by JD Vance, the Epstein, you know, seeing some nasty things posted by Elon Musk. I don't know if this man was around your kids, your kid. I mean, come on now. So, you know, this honestly makes Elon Musk look bad in a way. You know, so that's why it's still, you know, it's not sitting well with me. And this is why I asked you guys for all your opinions yesterday. And again, the people voted for President Trump, not Elon Musk, man. You know, the people voted for President Trump, not Elon Musk. But Elon Musk is a patriot and put in sacrifice and did a lot of things, man. And he helped President Trump. You know, he shined light on a lot of corruption. You know, he was one of those ones to admit, you know, we see how Trump is getting treated. We see how the fake news is the enemy of the people. You know, so that's why it took us all for shock that this actually took place from Elon Musk after, you know, everything he's done and exposed. And the fraud, waste, and abuse in our government, you know, but that all goes back to this big beautiful bill, you know, that just didn't sit right. As he said, it was pork filled, and there's some things in that bill, you know, hey, but there's a lot of good things in the bill, a lot of campaign promises in the bill, you know, but. Once again, going back to Congress, and it's just, I gotta tell y'all, man, I think they ought to just walk in there and clean house. You know, put people against the wall, put them on the floor, audits, investigations, shake people down, start, just, you know. But let's get into this, man. Mike, better not come on here smiling. Nothing is funny, Mike. Always want to be in good spirits. With that Diet Dr. Pepper in his hand. We almost walked you out, Mike.
Speaker, thanks so much. for joining us this morning. What a day, what a 24 hours, what a year, what a life. But I don't know. We were going to talk about the bill, obviously, but can we at least touch on this and what you know? I thought you were supposed to have a conversation yesterday with Elon. Did that happen, or was it just text?
Well, we exchanged text messages yesterday. I spoke with him at length on Monday, and that's why the kind of the blow up that happened this week was very surprising, disappointing to me. We had a very friendly conversation. I really like Elon. He's a friend. I've come to truly respect his acumen. The Doge effort was heroic, patriotic, helped us find a lot of savings and abuses that Congress was not able to uncover previously. So huge contributions. And look, we can have policy differences. We have that here in this building, every day, but it's not personal. It shouldn't be personal. I don't tell my friend Elon I don't argue with him about how to build rockets, and I wish he wouldn't argue with me about how to craft legislation and pass it. But we've had some good discussion. I thought it was helpful, fruitful, but it's just disappointing. I hope it all resolves today. Look, these are two titans. I respect them both. I'm of course a huge fan and supporter of President Trump. I was with him in the Oval Office yesterday afternoon when some of this was unfolding, and he was disappointed. I was disappointed. I just hope it resolves quickly for the sake of the.
We're all disappointed, Mike. Elon Musk just came out and called our president a you guys, I know it again. Like I said, that's why I see what some people are saying, that this is a part of the plan. This is this is that, but I just don't know, man. Some of the things that Elon, posted and reposted yesterday, I just don't know. I really do hope they get on the phone today and we, that this isn't what we think it is. That it all gets resolved, man. But I don't like how Trump is, how unfair and how he's been treated, man, and lied on, and and his name. And they've already assassinated this man's character. The mainstream media has already, assassinated this man's character, man, and dragged him through the mud as they continue to drag him through the mud. And this just gives Dems another talking point. It gives liberals another talking point. And now people are saying this is a win for Elon Musk, because now that he's doing this, liberals and the left is going to buy more Teslas. He's saving his company. That's why a lot of people were saying this was a part of the plan to help Elon Musk out of the deal. Because he, after what he's done, seeing Tesla dealerships go on fire, and stuff like that, and seeing that last profit, the numbers of the last quarter being, terrible for his company. Maybe this was a part of the plan to get the left and the liberals back on board to save his company. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments, man. But Mike up here smiling. I'm not for it. I'm still looking for the no property tax and abolishing the IRS on the big beautiful bill, Mike.
Country.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, one of the points that the president made early on yesterday was that Elon was intimately involved with what was in the big beautiful bill, and was well aware of it. If there are shortcomings in terms of, and you've had to deal with your caucus. I don't know what's possible. I don't know what's possible in the Senate, but we're all well aware of the obstacles to getting a perfect bill. And I think Elon Musk, we must have had those conversations with him, so he was familiar with it. Suddenly, the hyperbolic language he used to describe the bill, even last week, where did that come from? And what do you attribute that to?
I really don't know. I mean, the point is well taken. We worked to craft this legislation over about 14 months. I mean, we began this in March of last year, working to craft a reconciliation package using 11 different committees in the House. They each worked in their area of jurisdiction and developed that policy over months and months of long discussion and deliberation. And and finding consensus on it. And so each of the committees came out with their individual pieces of the large reconciliation bill over a series of months and weeks. I mean, all this text was out in the public. Everyone knew exactly what we were talking about. There was nothing done under, late at night other than a long session to get to the final vote, and that's because the Democrats tried to stall it in the Rules Committee. So, look, everyone had plenty of time to review and digest what was in the legislation. I'm sure Elon knew what was in it as well. And look, the American people are sort of caught up in the drama of this, but I don't think at the end of the day, tweets and social media posts really determine what's the most important to the American people. I think what they're concerned about is what we all promised on the campaign trail, what President Trump was elected to do, the mandate that we got by 77 million popular votes, and that is to make sure that border is secure, to rebuild our military-industrial base at a very difficult time. That's the only new spending in this bill. The rest of it is securing historic tax cuts for the people, making the tax cuts permanent, having a pro-growth set of infusion into the economy, jet fuel to the economy, which is what this bill will provide, and at the same time, a historic level of savings for the American people. It's a fiscally responsible product. It is the first in a series of steps to get us back on a sound fiscal trajectory. And I think, Joe, it's a very important message for us to send to the bond markets, the stock market, investors, job creators, entrepreneurs, risk takers around the world, and here, of course, in the U.S. economy. The Congress is serious. We have steady hands on the wheel. We're going to address the debt problem at the same time as we are making the economy work again, and we can't wait to get that done.
Speaker Johnson, this week, Elon's one thing, but you do have to get through the Senate. And this week we have a series of senators who have come on this program to talk about their concerns with the bill, including Ron Johnson and Rand Paul, who both have said they will not support the bill in its current status because they think it adds trillions of dollars to the deficit. Their words, not mine, no matter how you want to spend this or how you want to do the math. Obviously, it's different depending on the growth prospects that come to it. But these are two senators whose support you need, who are saying they will not give it at this point. What's happening in the Senate? They also have support from others like Rick Scott and Mike Lee. Do you know where things stand and how you might be able to wrangle some of the Republican senators on that front?
Listen, I love Rick Scott, Mike Lee, and Ron Johnson. I mean, they're good friends. We have lots of discussion about this. We are all deficit and debt hawks. We're concerned about the fiscal trajectory of the country. The national debt is the number one national security threat. We have to address it. But here's what I think Ron is missing in all of this, is he'd like to cut, $8 trillion overnight, some huge figure like that. So would I. We don't have the votes to do that. And if you did that quickly, it would actually do real harm to the U.S. economy. So we have to do this in a step-by-step sequence of steps. Look, I liken this to an aircraft carrier. Y'all have heard my analogy. I mean, we did not get in this situation overnight. The U.S. economy is like a large vessel on the sea. You don't turn it on a dime. It takes a mile of open ocean. But this is the largest turn on that wheel that we've had since I've been alive. I mean, this is the largest cut in spending that any legislative body on the face of the earth in all of human history has ever achieved. And we did that by a long, deliberate process of getting everyone there. Remember, I have a very diverse Republican caucus. I've got people from very different districts across the country. They all see the same problem set with different lenses. And I've got to concoct 218 votes, currently 217 votes, to get something across the line. So we did that. We reached equilibrium. We achieved this massive achievement with the package. And I told my Senate colleagues at their lunch Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, 2 days before we passed the bill here, that, listen, remember that I'm crossing the Grand Canyon on a piece of dental floss, okay? I've got a very delicate balance among all the interests. And if you load it up with too many changes or modifications when it comes back over, then we're not going to be able to balance that. So I've encouraged my friends to, put their fingerprints on it, but do it as lightly as possible.
We had Senator another Johnson. That's a very common name. So I think back to pre-pandemic spending levels, and there's no one who doesn't sit there and go, "What are we doing?" Where we had a $600 billion deficit. Now we're stuck at $2 trillion. I don't even know how that happened. So you're nodding, and I'm nodding and going, "Yeah, that makes sense." So do the easy part first. Problem in the Senate. So you're basically dealing with what you can with the hands that you've been dealt.
That's right. And the reason I advocated for the one bill strategy from the very beginning is because I know my team here, right? I mean, the job of the speaker in an era with razor-thin majorities is that you've got to know your members and you've got to know their districts to a granular level so that you can build that consensus that's necessary to get the product delivered.
Oh, this is good talking,
right?
Mike.
So it's a complicated balance, but everyone here wants to reduce spending. All of us want to return to pre-pandemic spending levels. I mean, we do, but you have to do that in a sequence of events. We have a plan, okay? This is the first of a multi-step process, as I mentioned. We're going to have another reconciliation bill that follows this one, possibly a third one before this Congress is up, because you can have a reconciliation bill for each budget year, each fiscal year, so that's ahead of us. We're also doing rescissions packages. We got the first one delivered this week from the White House, and that will codify many of the DOGE cuts. There'll be a series of those that come along, and we have the actual spending bills, the regular appropriations process upcoming, where we will spend less money. This is the team that will deliver and return us to fiscal responsibility. But it takes us a little bit of time to do it. Yeah.
What are you hearing from your colleagues in the Senate that it's likely about SALT? I mean, you've got your own issues with your caucus. I mean, Susan Collins and Josh Hall. What are you expecting to come back? What are going to be the priorities for what the Senate changes? And then when it gets to your guys, how big is your hat with the rabbits? How many rabbits are in the hat that you're always dealing with, Mr. Speaker? You got a few left in there?
Well, look, it's a lot of prayer and patience that delivers this. I wish I had a magic hat. They've written my eulogy about 10 times, and they've discounted our Republican majority, and everyone said we couldn't do all this, but we keep delivering. And the reason we do is because I spend a lot of time listening to everyone, taking in their opinions and their preferences, and at the end of the day, we find that compromise. The SALT part was a big piece of this, right? It took us about a year to come to that equilibrium point where we were able to get it through the House. And I understand my Senate Republicans over there, my dear friends over there, they're all from red states. They don't have a lot of tolerance for that. They don't like it. I'm from a red state. I'm not in love with the idea of a higher SALT cap either. But I told them the reality is, the American people are going to have the largest tax increase in U.S. history descend upon their heads at the end of this year when all this expires. But all these other pro-growth incentives in the economy won't happen. And small business owners and job creators and entrepreneurs will not expand their businesses. Wages won't go up. The job participation rate will remain low. And inflation will continue to increase. We won't have the solutions. But also, remember, if we don't deliver on this and we don't deliver a little bit on SALT relief, then we're not going to have the House majority. And if we lose the House majority, the Democrats take over, they will impeach Donald Trump. I would forecast probably on the first few days of the new Congress next January, and January 27, and everything will go to chaos. So this team has to stay in power. This team has to stay working on our plan to get our fiscal trajectory back. And it all begins with the one big beautiful bill. So everybody who is criticizing this
one big beautiful bill,
we've got to deliver this product. We promised the people we would. I think we will by July 4th. Election, but this was a whole team effort. I mean, President Trump is the most consequential political figure of his generation, of modern American history. He is the one responsible for that. But we all worked hard. We delivered the House majority. I traveled the country nonstop. I did over 360 campaign events in 250 cities and 40 states, and I logged enough miles last year to circle the globe 5.5 times. I mean, I contributed to it as well. All of our and that's what we're fulfilling in the one big beautiful bill. Everybody needs to remember the reason we're using reconciliation is because it is the way around the 60-vote threshold. You only need 51 votes in the Senate. If we don't do it in reconciliation, reconciling the budget and saving these costs, saving money for the people, then we've got to do regular order. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are not going to help deliver the America First agenda. So all these big campaign promises we made will be jeopardized if we don't get this thing over the line and we don't do it quickly.
Yeah, and for lack of a better term, the whole MAGA movement predated Elon Musk. He kind of joined the movement to everyone's surprise. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. When it comes back to the House, Mr. Speaker, would you rather have... Who are you more worried about, your hawks or the parts of your caucus that are in those districts that voted for Kamala Harris? Who do you think you can convince easier? Would you rather have more cuts or fewer cuts when it comes back to you?
If I were king, I would make massive cuts to the federal government, but I'm not. We're in a deliberative body, and it's designed
but to get
to work
it done,
slowly.
Yeah, to get it done, what would you prefer?
Well, to get it done, look, I have equal concern among all those caucuses and subgroups because they all have a big say. And when you have a 3-vote margin, you got to treat them all with equal weight, and I do that. So we'll see. We'll navigate it. We'll thread the needle, no matter how small. But I'm encouraging my Senate colleagues to try to make that as easy as possible. Don't complicate it for us.
I'd hate to say that this getting these two gentlemen back together is your responsibility. That's overstating it, and I don't want to put that on you. But if anyone can do it, maybe it's you. And you got to do all these other things too, Mr. Speaker. But hey, you wanted to be Speaker, didn't you? Do you still want to be? You think about?
I never did.
No, man, we're gonna walk. They have them pictures from the walk Mike out of here, smiling and laughing with this Diet Dr. Pepper in his hand. Mike, we got to walk you out, sir. Keep it up, Mike. Keep it up. Nothing's funny, sir.